Hi, I'm Phil Berman from Balance Catamarans, and I am here in Cape Town, kind of a cold, almost winter's day. And I'm here with Susan Walling, who is the owner of a beautiful new Balance 442 called Supergirl. And I had the pleasure of having dinner with Susan last night or the night before and learning a bit about her. And it was interesting how you decided to become a sailor and that sort of thing. And I wondered if you'd share with us how you ended up here.
Wow. Well, it all started in 2019. 2018, I lost my husband approximately 4 years ago, and I was a devoted wife and mother. And so I kind of put my dreams and passions on the back burner. And so I actually lost my parents and my husband all within a year's time. So I did grieve. However, I did think of the positive side of things, and that was that I had no responsibility. My children were grown. I could live anywhere and do whatever I wanted. So I started thinking about my bucket list items. And so I climbed Kilimanjaro right off the bat. And that was such an amazing experience, and it gave me the courage to pursue more. And so during COVID, I didn't want to just sit at home on the sofa and twiddle my thumbs. So I decided to take online courses and read as much as I could about sailing. And I caught the bug about a year earlier in Greece. Some friends of mine had a catamaran off the coast of Greece, and I stayed with them about 10 days. And it was like going home for me because I grew up in Europe. And just the experience of pulling into these small fishing towns and taking the dinghy in for a fresh seafood dinner or a coffee. I mean, it was just fantastic. I put my previous experience along with my desire to sail, and I knew that I could explore the world in a whole different way and through different experiences from being on board a beautiful yacht like this.
So then you got into sailing schools, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I took my courses in Annapolis, and then I started sailing with John Kretschmer, who's a renowned author and sailor, and did some big water sails and got some certifications. And I was in a boat buying class of his along with some friends, and they had done a sea trial in Annapolis with you and
Andrew Hodgson on the 442.
Yeah, that's right. And 482.
482,
yeah,
correct.
482. Yeah. And they told me in the class, because I was looking at monohulls, they said that they had just done a sea trial with you and they loved the boat. And so they gave me Andrew's number and I called him, and I was on the boat the very next day and I fell in love immediately.
Barry and Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yes.
You've been here in Cape Town a while.
Well, I came back in November of last year to oversee the production. This was such a big leap of faith for me that I wanted to see the people that were going to be involved in making my dream come true. So I met everyone at the factory in the administrative part, and then I started venturing out into the woodworking department and the procuring department and the fabrication and the upholstery. And so I mean, I just had the most glorious time. And then I had been to Africa 3 different times before, but I didn't really spend a lot of time in Cape Town. So during the month of November that I was here, I did wine country tours, and I didn't spend too much time there because I'm not a drinker, but I loved going to this automobile museum. The gentleman owns like 600 vintage vehicles, and he displays 150 at a time and rotates them out.
Okay.
And they're in mint condition. And I'm a UK citizen as well, and so I'm a member of the Royal Automobile Club in London, and they have reciprocal clubs. So I'm all about automobiles. My father collected Alfa Romeos when we lived in Italy, and brought several back to the States and then collected some more. So he had quite the collection. But I also went to this beautiful outdoor sculpture museum. And the part of my journey with this boat is to immerse myself in the cultures and get to know people deeply on a spiritual level. And it's great to talk to people in depth about their beliefs and what drives them and what passions they have for life. And so one woman in particular was the lady, her name's Tariq Fensham, and she does all the upholstery on the boat. And yes, we had some fun designing everything together. But I drove out to the factory with her, and one afternoon we spent 2.5 hours at lunch just talking, and it was really a profound experience. I mean, especially with women, I feel like I've got sisters from another mother with getting to know these women on such a deep personal level.
Tell me about Supergirl. So the name Supergirl again.
Well, I was really struggling with the name.
Mm-hmm.
And so the tours that I took were with a wonderful man named Stephen Flesh, and he was recommended by the Balance administrative personnel at Balance. And so he's a fantastic wine connoisseur, but he was a former journalist for a sailing magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent 3 days together. And I said, on the latter part of the second day, I said, Stephen, I bet you've seen a lot of boat names. And he said, yes, I have. And I said, well, I'm really struggling with my boat name and I want it to be special. And he said, well, let me think about it. So we had another tour the very next day, and close to the end of that tour, he said, I've got the name for you. And I said, what is it? And he said, well, he knew the brand. And he said, the boat is a Supergirl. And after spending 3 days with you, you're a Supergirl. And so I said, that's it. I'm going with it. And I've loved it ever since.
It's so cool. Yeah, and my wife loves the name too because she's always been a big Superman fan, Supergirl. Yeah, so she really liked it. You're getting ready to go.
Yes.
The plan now is you may depart in just a couple days.
Right.
This will be your first long passage. Your plan at present, you've got a captain crew. You found a local boyfriend, girlfriend?
Well, they're fiancés. They were engaged on I think one of the last deliveries they did together.
Right, okay. Experienced South Africans, yeah.
Yes. And they got engaged on the equator.
Okay.
Going across. So.
Okay, cool. So the three of you are going to take off, and then you said you were going to bypass Helena.
Yeah, she had stopped there, and she said that the shelves were bare, and the last time they had a delivery was December.
Okay.
So that might have changed by then, so we'll see.
Yeah, you'll see. Well, and hopefully if everything's hunky-dory with the ship, you'll just keep going. But then you're going to stop in Fernando de Noronha.
Right.
So.
But I will tell you, Phil, that, we have planned our provisions.
Yeah.
And we believe we can bypass some of these islands and keep going.
Sure.
I'm getting ready to have a delivery of pre-made foods. We had a butcher deliver. We went and purchased all our dry goods, and we still have room to spare.
No problem. In Balance sailed all the way from Cape Town to the south of France, right? And when they arrived, they still had extra meat, like from south. So you'll be fine. But Fernando is considered to be an absolutely beautiful place. I think it's known as kind of a dolphin sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
And they say that the clarity of the water is incredible, because I've talked to some other people that have stopped there. So I think it's really neat you're going, because I've always wanted to go there and I've never had the chance. So you'll stop there, and then next stop is Grenada, probably.
Right.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And if nothing is going wrong, I'm going to Barbados.
Okay, so I insisted that she stop in Grenada because we have support people there, and if she needs anything, And Barbados, I have a friend there, but Grenada, we have a lot more balance action there. So if there's any parts that she needs or anything from the crossing, and as I've told her, invariably on any crossing, something will happen. It probably won't be anything big, but if anything happens, you're going to let us know. And then if you need a part, we'll make sure we get it to Grenada. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you you're about to take off?
Yeah, I think the big water sails I did with John Kretschmer prepared me for that.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of people and their behavior that I sailed with. I just feel like super empowered after observing some of the other people on these trips.
Yep.
I feel like I'm intuitively ready. I'm a problem-solving person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've got the most amazing skippers going with me that are gentle and soft-spoken. And I've been working with particularly Daniel my main skipper for the last 2.5 weeks on the boat, and I've noticed how informative he is. We've gone shopping for spare parts and boat parts. I feel confident. I've done my due diligence. I've had the support of Balance, and I feel like I'm getting lifted up by an amazing support team to do this journey.
Well, I wish you a very pleasant voyage, and we look forward to seeing you on the other end. So the plan after you're in Grenada is then to bring the boat to Charleston. Is that correct?
Yes, my son lives there.
Okay. So we're all really proud of you.
Thank you.
You've got the guts and the drive and the energy to do something a lot of people wouldn't do. And we hope it's a magical passage.